'cause your stare won't ever let me go. I'm here only 'cause I'm aware with you is better than all alone. Oh, 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 say what you're dying to say. No, 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 oh, tonight we're stars, but we'll fade away. Go on and light me up, oh, go on and light me up while we're golden. Come on and light me up, oh, come on and light me up before we come down. Stars will always come down, so before we come down, down, down. Go on and light me up, oh, go on and light me up while we're golden. Come on and light me up, oh, come on and light me up before we come down. Before we come down, stars will always come down.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway for race 202 tonight in our doubleheader. This race is going to be for the iRacing Super Stock League, and we'll get some things ready for you. We've got a lot of action to cover for this race, and it's going to start with a solo qualifying session, and then we're going to move on to heat races. From that, only 30 drivers will qualify and make it to the main feature, so these guys are going to have to run fast whether they want to or not. And we're going to take a look at one of the guys who knows how to do it best. We'll ride around with Mr. Steve Korosek. I know we were riding around with him last race, but we were switching in between. But I've had a couple people saying, man, that guy runs fast. We need to watch him in qualifying. Well, here you go. Let's take a look at the line that this 27 machine runs. Driver out of Cleveland, Ohio. Got a couple people in the chat already. Hope everybody's doing well. Happy Saturday. This is Jessica Stubblefield. BB, Duck. Good to see both of you in here. I don't think I've seen both of you in here together at once. And this is the first race that I've ever broadcasted for ISSL. So, again, going to be some different guys. Going to be some things getting used to. I'm excited for it, though. It's going to be a great race. We just had Jimmy Crow's Dash for the Cash. Let me tell you, we had a 38-car field. We were just about at that, maybe a little less or a little more. We'll find out once we get the official numbers in. And with that being the case, we're going to have packed heat races and a lot of racing, because that means not everybody that is in the race right now is going to make it to the main feature, which is where the big money is. Remember, $750 to the winner based off of, I believe that might have been based off 60 payouts. Of course, we don't quite have that many, but either way, it's going to be good payouts. Boy, look at Steve Korosek wheeling that thing around the apron. Keeping it nice and tight. See what time he gets down on the board. And it looks like currently takes pole as he's the first one to put a time down. We'll see just how long that stands. Let's go ride with one of these other cats on the track right now. How about Danny Barnes? Looks like he is also just finishing up his time. See if we can find someone that has not quite went yet. How about, let's see who all we got here. Give Zachary Lima a shout out as it is his birthday. And there you go. Upside down. What better way to celebrate? Danny Eshelman, here we go. Driver of the 6. Good to see him back out here. Didn't see him in the last race, but he made sure to get in this one. He knows there's big money on the line. It is going to be top 10 payout tonight, and of course we will go over all this in plenty more detail with time to come. Let's give the SDK a quick refresh. Make that tower look a little bit more pretty. Couple big hitters, new name big hitters, or big hitters that we don't see a lot of, but they are out here. One of them is Braxton Louise, not on track. Ken McCall Jr. up there leading some laps. Last race, he is looking to try to maybe get a win here, make himself some money. Jason Maines is in here. How about Michael Triscaro? Did a heck of a job pushing last race. Haven't seen this guy before. He's got a cool looking tag though. We'll see what he can do. Looks to be a pretty talented driver from just in terms of the stat sheet that we have on him here. A-Class 4.3 safety rating, 2000 iRating. We'll see what Timothy Stubblefield can put down for his lap. Stubblefield, excuse me. Good looking Spartan paint scheme on his Chevy Silverado. Actually, what we can do here is let's pull up the dashboard. You see on your bottom right, let's see the speeds these guys are going to get to by themselves tonight. Of course, that speed going to pick up by about 10 to 15 miles an hour. You can almost guarantee it. Once these guys start drafting, that is when we get in those big packs. Remember, each heat race is going to be 18 laps from what I've heard so far. I can double check. Actually, we don't have to because we'll know when the race starts. But yes, it's going to be 2 heat races, 18 laps each. And depending on how many we have from each heat race will depend on how we determine how many are going to make it. And I'll tell you who put up a really good qualifying lap. Jimmy Crow, driver of the 16, the host of that last race. Last time we saw him in here was the other night. Had an issue, though, where he got a jumped restart on accident. Boy, it just ruined it. He had such a strong night. Made a heck of a comeback from 2 laps down. So him starting up front again tonight, he's going to be dangerous. Michael Triscaro trying to continue his 2nd place run from last race. We'll see what he can do. Let's go ahead and set up a poll before we get the race started. There you go. It's going to be our first poll of the day. Might have a couple more coming out. Just have to see what happens. But we do thank everybody for being here. You are watching the Green Ghost on Ghost Racing Network. We now have about 4.5 minutes left of qualifying. A lot of times we won't show up in qualifying, or at least not till the end. However, tonight, qualifying very important because it's going to depend on which heat you're in, where you're starting in that heat. Potentially going to be a factor later on whether or not you are going home at the end of this. The end of the qualifying in general. Remember, everybody's guaranteed to race in the heats, but you're not guaranteed to race in the feature. You're going to have to earn your way in there, and to do that, you're going to have to finish in the top 15 positions for your heat. So it is going to get crazy. It's going to get wild. I'm getting excited. Before we get there, qualifying is going to have to finish up. Mark Von Dell out on track. This is a McCall Motorsports driver. Driver number 59. Always one of the capable guys out here looking to have a solid run. One of the ones that we say is due for a win. Kaysen Harnish. Not sure if I've seen him out here, or if I have. Boy, it has been a while. Good to see the driver of the 51 Rowdy Energy Machine back out here. And we have Stuart Roderick, excuse me. And so far we have had 30 drivers qualify. Looks like we do have, from what I'm counting right now, we may gain or lose at a couple more depending on before the race starts. As of right now, though, I am seeing 38 drivers in the field tonight, so that would indicate that 8 drivers will be going home at the end of those heat races. And we have just about finished up qualifying. I'm a little shocked that not everybody has qualified. It looks like we may have 4 to 5 drivers that end up not qualifying. Ambrose Knievel's getting up to speed. He knows he's got to put a lap down. He's going to see what he can do. Driver from Gold Bar, Washington. And normally we would have his favorite beer up here instead of, but as you see his sponsor there on the truck, on his driver info, Alive and Running Suicide Awareness and Prevention. Just over 2.5 minutes left of qualifying. You're just joining into the broadcast and you're just getting ready. You got a little bit more time before action's going to start picking up. I'm telling you, these heat races, they're going to be wild because they're not that long. No pit stops going to be a factor in them. It is just going to be go from the drop of the green. Do you get lucky? Do you have your teammates in yours? Or do you get unlucky? Maybe you don't have any teammates in your heat. These are all the questions that we're going to wait to see get answered. Boy, Raymond Rittenauer the second puts down a smoking lap. Gets himself up in a fourth position. And we'll refresh this one last time for qualifying. During the race, we won't have to worry about doing that. But as each new guy enters the track, the tower data has to update, and therefore I got to refresh it. Matt Lee's going to take the track. They call him Mr. GOAT. If you don't know why, you might find out tonight. One of the fast drivers, good at pushing, pretty good at blocking most of the time. We'll see if he can get himself a win tonight. Remember, you can't block in these quite. Let me put it this way, I guess. We did a race last night in Ron Morris Jr.'s Money Racing. A bunch of the usuals, the regulars, if you will. And we were in the 2012 Nationwide cars. That's the kind of car that the next gens, you can get away in either of those kind of car with really throwing aggressive blocks. You can take a shot. You'll be fine. However, in these trucks, they can push. They can really go if you need them to. But you throw a late block, all it takes is a little bump, get these things out of shape up in the wall, and your night is over. Matt Lee going to get his lap on this next one. Boy, he sure as heck waited right till the end of qualifying, that is. He should be able to get his lap time in, as the laps here are lower 50s, mid 50s maybe we'll say, because as you see the pole time right now is 56.02 by Steve Korosek, and he is going to have his drafting partner, if it stands, Zachary Lima, with him, but we'll have to see. Matt Lee might have something to say about it. Another fast qualifier, and you know what he did, and I know many people may not have noticed this. On that first lap, he had some cloud cover. It does make a difference. Little bit more speed with that little bit cooler temperature, a little bit more grip in the track too. Let's see if that was enough to get him. Looks like we got a couple Braxton DeWeese fans shuffling in. Usually the biggest fan pack that I see in any of the broadcasts I do is usually for Braxton DeWeese. Some of the other drivers I see up there is Matthew Baker, and it looks like tonight Stubblefield got himself a couple fans out there cheering for him to get a good run tonight. We'll make sure we keep tabs on those drivers. As always, guys, feel free to let me know if I'm not giving you enough information on certain people. Just ask in the chat. I'll be more than happy to get over there, check on how they're doing. And now we're going to check your starting lineup here for Heat 1. Once these guys get gridded up, race day is upon us, though, here in the ISSL Money Racing Series at Talladega. It's one of the biggest races ever hosted by ISSL. And so far, looking like a success with the amount of drivers we have tonight. We are not going to worry about getting into your race info just yet. We'll save that for the main race. What we will do, though, is get right down to your starting grid. Starting in first, the pole for Heat 1 is going to be Steve Korosek. The downside of his teammate getting second in qualifying is they're not going to be able to work together in the heat. They're going to have to try to get it on their own. Starting second, the outside pole is going to be Jimmy Crow Jr. Third, Matthew Baker to his outside, another Road to Pro driver, and Matt Lee. Fifth place is going to be Sean Corbett. Sixth, Brian Bassard. Seventh is going to be Danny Eshelman. Eighth is going to be Ron Morris Jr. Ninth is going to be Kyle Knapp. 10th, Jeff Merck. 11th is going to be John Mullahan. Outside of row 6 is going to be Dean Grob. 13th is going to be WB James II. 14th is going to be Brew James. So we're getting some, yep, WB James II. 13th, Brew James. 14th. 15th is going to be John Ernest. Moving back to 16th is going to be Stuart Broderick. And 17th is going to be Francisco Villarreal. And 18th, Tyrell Baker. And 19th rounding out the field is going to be Nash Brambilla again. As always, I apologize for butchering some of these guys' last names. I make this font real small, and it's when it's the first time seeing some of these guys, it's a little bit of a challenge, but we'll make sure we get it right throughout the race here. Pace car just now getting ready to roll off. Steve Korsek's ready to go. We have someone saying, "Let's go Harnish." And there we go, Matthew Baker's mom. Gotta say, maybe the biggest fan in here of any of the drivers out here. Might have to give it Baker's mom. She is here for just about every broadcast. Matthew Baker is in. Let's go ahead and get your grid away. Let's get some things set up here, starting with the tower. And then now let's head down. The man who got the pole, give him a closer look, give him some recognition. would be Mr. Steve Korosek, Dale Cup driver, one of the founders of it too. You've probably heard us say that a couple times, but what just continues to amaze me about this guy is just how good he is at these super speedways. One of the things, the cool things I guess about iRating, sometimes depends, is iRatings can be so deceiving. Steve Korosek has a 1600 iRating. I'm not saying it's a bad iRating. I'm saying it's average, right? I'm somewhere about, you know, I think 3,000-ish. This guy would smoke me and does smoke me on super speedways. He knows how to do it. He knows how to get it done. And that's what he's going to try to do tonight. And he's going to have a good chance because he has one of the best pushers in the business behind him. The driver out of Magnolia, Texas. That's Matthew Baker. 45, Sean Corbett. Good to see him in here. This outside line has two strong drivers in itself. That's going to be Jimmy Crow and Matt Lee. We go further back in the pack. Everybody did make it on the track. That's what we like to see. Nash Brambilla going to be starting last. He's got his work cut out for him. And in this heat, there is 19 drivers. And I'll tell you what we're going to do real quick just to check. We're going to pull up this main. Actually, you know what? We don't need to. We'll hold off on it. If there is 19 in the other heat, that would change some things up. So right now for this heat, it looks like it would be 4 drivers going home the last 4. But I think I am going to check this real quick. So I want to make sure we have it right. We'll pull up the results here real quick, just to see how many drivers we do indeed have. And you see right there, one heat's going to have 19, one heat is going to have 18. Do that, Matt. That should give you 37 trucks. 7 guys total going to be going home. I would believe that means 4 going for this one. Let's go back up front because we are getting ready to go green. Pace truck car, has pulled off. The race trucks are getting ready to go at it. Steve Korosek's got the field in sync. He's ready to go. He's going to try to beat Jimmy Crow on this restart.
Green flag.
Green flag is out. We're racing at Heat 1 at Talladega. Ooh, Jimmy Crow's already having a couple internet issues. Got to be careful with that early. Matt Lee sees that, doesn't care. It's going to get right on his bumper. But Steve Korosek and Matt Lee already trying to check out on the field. You got to be a little careful here. That outside is going to have a lot of momentum cranking down the backstretch and into turn 3. For the first time down the back, Matthew Baker not thinking about making a move, and I don't blame him. Right now, your goal is just being in that main race. It doesn't matter too much about where exactly you start in it as much as it does getting in it. Nash Brambilla and these guys further back, I think we're going to see them trying to dice it up early. Ron Morris Jr. jumps to the outside, and Jeff Merck, John Mollahan, a couple Team 3 drivers in here, so they are going to have a good chance for themselves. Looking further back in the pack, Nash Brambilla. Remember, there's not going to be any cautions that I know of. There's certain race details that I wasn't informed about just yet, so we'll have to watch them. But as I know of, there's not going to be any cautions in the heat race. That means you better stay out of the wreck. And I think what Nash Brambilla is thinking about doing right now, so a couple of these other guys hanging back. Francisco, WB James. And how about the 25? Hanging it in the middle right now, trying to go 3 wide. These guys are 3x3, quite a few rows in the front. They look very disorganized right now. Matt Lee, though, got right around Jimmy Crow with help from Jeff Merck, and it looks like one's going to get clear, maybe 2. Jeff Merck barely just slams the door on the 16. Now that puts Matt Lee in charge, these guys are going to start moving to the front. That third lane is fading. Not a lot of laps. Let's go to the gaps on the scoring tower now so you can see it. And let's see some of the speeds these cats are running in the draft. The 04 takes that lap, 186. Pretty good speed further back in the pack, especially during the race. Once these guys really get pushing, you will see speeds close to 190. How fast we get in the Truck Series, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, that is. Down the back, Jimmy Crow pushing on the bumper of Jeff Merck. You see Matt Lee was able to clear that bottom in front of Steve, your pole sitter. We'll see how long Steve is willing to stay in line. I think he is also one of the best pushers, but Matthew Baker won't let himself fall too far back before he'll be looking to go 3 wide. Ron Morris Jr. has moved into the 3rd spot on that outside lane. That is the first, and I think the only McCall Motorsports driver, any of them that aren't currently up here, but it looks like, sure enough, Ron Morris Jr., the only McCall Motorsports driver in the field. He's trying to hold down the fort over here, get in, and then hope his teammates are able to get in their heat, which will be coming up right after this. 15 laps to go, though, in Heat 1. Matt Lee in first, Steve Korosek second, Matthew Baker third, Jeff Merck fourth, and Sean Corbett rounding out the top 5. Here we go, though. Steve Korosek, Matthew Baker both jump to the top lane, and they're becoming good buddies early, aren't they? Steve Corset gets clear. We'll see if he decides to drop down. He pulls Matthew Baker with him. Jeff Merck tried to get clear, couldn't quite. Now he's going to be side by side with Matt Lee, trying to get back up there. Jimmy Crow, pretty good pusher. Let's take a ride on board here. Jimmy Crow, let's see what he's looking at out of his front windshield as he tries to push this 60 car all the way to the front. Drivers all roaring down the backstretch, still 2x2. Nash Brambilla, I think, is just waiting, but I think he needs to go now. If he waits too long, he may get stuck and have nowhere to go. Robert Miller in here for Don McCall Motorsports. A couple other people, Stub Nation. He will be in the second heat, so if you're just tuning in, you're waiting for him, you'll see him in the next heat. We'll see a couple big hitters in this heat. We'll see a couple big in the next heat. All depended on how they qualified. Steve Corset got the pole, lost the lead. But now he's back out in front with 13 laps to go at Talladega. Nash Brambilla still dicing around in the back. A lot of you may be saying, who cares? He's in the back right now. We got to keep tabs because remember, there is only going to be 15, I believe, that make it. We'll pull this up one more time to check. Sure enough, you saw it right there on the top left. 15 under make it from this race. That means 19th, 18th, 17th, and 16th. Let's check on that battle. That means right now, Nash Brambilla, WB James, Kyle Knapp, and John Mullahan would be going home. They're going to get more and more feisty as this thing goes on. Steve Korsak back up to the top with Matthew Baker. That's going to open it up to Matt Lee on the bottom, followed by Sean Corbett, and Danny Eshelman is sneaking his way up here into the top 6. Still side by side in the tri-oval. I think Matthew Baker and Steve Korsak, I don't know if they're chatting right now, but these two are looking about as coordinated as can be. And just as I say that, 27's going to jump down, open it up to the top for the 5 of Matthew Baker, and I think he trusts him. Going to give him the benefit of clean air and also put these two side by side, give them both a better chance of risking going to the back. Ron Morris Jr. now moves back to the 4th, and I see a 25 machine back here. I believe that is Hugh James. No, that's the 91. It's actually going to be, yep, Tyrell Baker, sure enough, is that is. He's looking 213 Simware paint scheme. It kind of caught my eye, just bright pink and yellow car, but 213, one of the popular sponsors in iRacing. Simware Apparel, we'll check them out. 25 in the middle. Oh, Danny Eshelman contact. Here we go, they're around, out of the tri-oval. A lot of guys in this one. The 6 is in it. Yellow flag is out. Nash Brambilla is going to escape through. The 25, John Mullahan's involved. The 71. Danny Eshelman's with the biggest damage. This is not what he wanted to see. Oh no, the 91, Hugh James. His chances at making the feature are going to be over because remember, they don't have any fast repairs. We were saving that for the race info. I didn't think we'd have to worry about it here in the heats, but oh man, you hate to see this for any of these drivers, man. You want to see everybody have a chance to race it to the finish, but they're not going to have a chance to. So the first caution of Heat 1 comes out with 11 to go. If somehow you haven't figured out, well, that would answer your question. There are cautions enabled for the heats, which I do like. Gives all these guys a chance. They have minimum damage. You wouldn't want to see their race come to an end. But either way, let's take a look at what brought out this caution. It's going to start somewhere here with Danny Eshelman and Tyrell Baker. I saw somebody wiggling around. It almost looked a little odd. Let's see if we can find out exactly where this whole ordeal starts. TV1. Take a look at the 25 here in the middle, 213 Simware car. And the 6, Danny Eshelman on the bottom in that blue Octo Wrap paint scheme. Here we go. So you see the 6 drifting up. It does get bumpy right there. That's a pretty natural drift that we're seeing from the 6. Nothing out of the ordinary right there. They are 3 wide. Oh, and it looks like the 25 maybe coming down a little bit. And I'll tell you what, see if we can get a little bit of a better view on this. I don't think we're going to be able to. Actually, yes, we'll take a view from the chopper on it. See if somebody's coming down a little bit more. You see the 6. Maybe creeping up a little bit, 25. Yeah, just 2 guys creeping around a little bit. But notice there wasn't actual contact here to start it. This is what we call net code. Anybody that doesn't know what that is, iRacing thought they would make a collision. And that little bump causes him to make a collision. Sure enough, back up in the 25. That gets the back end up off the ground, spins him around, comes down, clips the 6. Danny Eshelman couldn't quite escape at the 25, down into the 11. And you'll see the 6, Danny Eshelman back up the track. Gets into the 91, the 91 into the outside wall pretty hard. The 71 gets into it. Oh, man, the 32, I believe that is. Wasn't quite able to sneak by either. I was trying to figure out. Yeah, that's WB James. He's got some damage. And there you see the 25, John Mullahan, who was trying to sneak by it. Wasn't quite able to. Fortunately for him, I don't think his damage was too bad. But a couple of these guys' night might be done. Let's go back live, though, up front. Matthew Baker currently leading the way. Second is going to be Steve Korosek. Third place is going to be Jeff Merck. Fourth, Matt Lee. And Jimmy Crow Jr. rounding out the top 5. Let's see how some of these guys are doing that are further back right now. Oh, and sure enough, looks like Bu James, that driver of the 91 who you saw. Smoke coming out the back. That means that car is terminally damaged. No fast spare. His night is done. Tyler Baker still sits on pit road. He might be okay if he's able to keep from going a lap down. We'll have to see how it all plays out. WB James, a lot of damage to the front of that truck. John Ernst, John Mullahan, Danny Eshelman. A lot of drivers tore up in this. Your top 12 is where you're going to find the first undamaged truck, and that's the guy who must have played the right strategy. We're talking about a little bit about him, but Nash Brambilla stayed in the back, was able to avoid that wreck, and now he's going to be able to go race a little bit more comfortably than he once was. You guys are just tuning in. We thank you for being here. We are 9 laps to go here in Heat 1, and then we're going to have Heat 2. A lot of big hitters in this one. There's going to be a lot of big hitters in the next one. Then we're going to move on to the main feature, where only 30 drivers total will advance. We started with 37 drivers tonight, so we are going to be getting rid of 7 of them before we go green for the big event. Big payouts on the line. I'm talking over $1,000. And it all starts right here. Matthew Baker, though, looking good right now. So is Steve Korosek. They both have been dominating Heat 1 so far. You are watching the iRacing Super Stock League, presented by the Christian iRacers here on Ghost Racing Network with the Green Ghost. Thank you all for coming out on a Saturday night, and hopefully you're enjoying it. Should be getting the 1 to go symbol this next time. That means we are going to go green with 7 laps to go. And that's still a decent ways for a lot of these guys to have a chance to make it up. It looks like WB James still sitting on pit road trying everything to fix the damage that he can't. Has gone a lap down. So has Tyrell Baker. Good news is he's back out on track. He looks a little banged up. Doesn't look terrible, though. Let's see if we can ride on board with him real quick and get an idea of it. Not going to be able to quite see what he got up to. These guys will check their RPMs, and if they're able to run at about 1,300 RPMs, they're good to go. No engine damage. And if you have no engine damage, you're in pretty good shape. That truck can usually still run pretty fast unless you have just absolutely banged it up on every side. Doesn't seem to be the case. The 71 is back out. The Snap-on truck has some damage. Good news for him is he's still on the lead lap, currently sitting in the last transfer spot. And as of right now, doesn't have to worry about racing anybody for it because everyone else is a lap down or more or even out of the race. So I think right now, if I'm the 71, I am staying back, making sure no matter what happens, I don't get involved in this wreck. We know these guys like to race. John Mullahan gets it back out there, currently sitting in 13th. Brian Bassard in the 11. 14th, Denver Broncos fan. Kyle Knapp. I wonder if him and Sean Knapp are potentially related. Not Sean Knapp. I'm thinking of a different race. Never mind. Sean Corbett's in this race, not Sean Knapp. Kyle Knapp running the 12 machine. We'll see if he can get up here. I've seen him in this heat. Haven't really talked about him, though. Let's give him a little shout-out. Try to do that to all the drivers if we can. A little hard to do when we get these bigger fields. But always like give everybody some TV time. Ain't no reason any of these guys, they all paid good money to be out here. They're all very talented. The respect they deserve. But now it's back to race time. We're going to find out who's got the most willpower of all of them. The initial restart, we didn't see that outside get a good jump, so it didn't really matter. But this time, you got 2 powerhouses on both lanes, 2 powerhouse pushers behind them. And I think this is going to be a really crucial restart. If that top lane gets a good push, they have a good chance of clearing the bottom. But Jeff Merck Going to try to keep Matthew Baker out in front. Pace car pulls off. We are going to ride from the pit lane cam as they make their way around. Then we'll take a ride with the blimp cam for the restart. And you see the field now rolling into the tri-oval. Danny Eshelman, you see him on pit road. He is retired. Race is over.
Green,
Here we go. Green flag is back out. 7 laps to go at Talladega. Let's take a look at the blimp cam here. Matthew Baker, the inside line, got a good start. Nobody's helping Steve Korsek on that outside. He's going to drop down, and boy, what happened to the rest of the field here? You see just how spread out they all are. This is what happens when you got some damage sometimes, but it's going to be a 4-truck breakaway down the backstretch. And I think these 4 might make sure they stay lined up and try to pull away from the pack, but Jimmy Crow, Sean Corbett, and a couple others are in tow, and they're not going to let them slip away anytime soon. 16 has a run. We will see if these guys still want to race for position. Remember, just because you're into the heat, you can still improve where you're going to start. Sure enough, that's what Matt Lee hears. He's going to jump to the outside. Steve Korsek not going to follow him, though. Going to try to leave him out to dry. I think Steve wants the lead on the outside. And Matt Lee is going to start following all the way back unless he gets help. Going to try to side draft, but that's only going to work for so long. 6 laps to go. Now, Jeff Merck, one of his teammates, jumps up top. Matthew Baker doesn't choose to block. He's going to stay on the bottom where he's worked so good with Steve Korsek most of Heat 1. And I know while they don't want to race too hard, nobody wants to get in a wreck. You got to remember, this is also your chance to feel out anything that you want to maybe try for the big race. You want to do 3 wide, maybe 4 wide. You got to go now. You got to try it while you can. I don't think we'll see any 4 wide. There's just not enough trucks left in the race. Ernst, though, is dropping pretty fast with the damage that he has. And let's bring up the track map because this, I don't know if this is potentially going to play a role just yet. That's what I'm waiting to find out, but here's what I want to look at. Track map's not pulling up right now, so we'll leave that alone. John Ernst, you see it on your tower. They're currently 28 seconds back. He is on the backstretch. Tyrell Baker is on the front stretch. We'll see, maybe somehow Tyrell Baker finds a way to get himself back in. We'll keep tabs on it. 5 laps to go, though. Steve Korsek left Matthew Baker, jumped to the top in front of Jeff Merck, trying to get the lead. Jimmy Crow went to the bottom. The 45, Sean Corbett. The 24, Francisco Villarreal. And these guys still side by side. Looks like about a 10-truck pack right now. A couple cars further back trying to catch this pack before the end of the race to have a chance get up here. We have a couple people in the chat ask about Braxton Louise and whatnot. He will be in the next heat, which is right after this. A couple other big drivers. Stubblefield will be in that heat as well. It's almost like a separation of drivers throughout all these events. We have drivers that are really talented. Well, I guess I shouldn't say it that way. They're all talented, of course, but some of these drivers are pro drivers, and we have some of the drivers that have bigger fan bases than other drivers. Makes for a cool mix for these races. Either way, all of them going for the same thing, that big pot of money that's going to be at the end of it. And the 27, Steve Korsek, looks like maybe just got cleared, doesn't drop down low though. And I'm thinking Jeff Merck was really hoping he would have got clear. He's got to be getting a little hot under the hood. That 60 Chevrolet Silverado. Jimmy Crow, a little surprised he's not pushing hard on Matthew Baker's bumper, but he doesn't seem to need to because they are staying out in front pretty comfortably. Uh-oh, the 71 just went a lap down. This is going to be important. Let's go to it. Where is Tyrell Baker? He's on the backstretch. If he can somehow catch up to the 71 before the race is over, he will get that transfer spot. Oh, you see the 70 run is running at 140 and dropping. Engine might be about to expire. Tyrell Baker is a little faster. That's going to be a close battle. We'll watch it. Back up front, these guys are running the mid-180s. Matthew Baker is still leading. Steve Korsek to his outside. It'll be 2 to go next time. If we take the white flag, it means no more cautions, and we will finish this race under green. Ooh, Steve Korsek got a little wiggly for just a second. Gathers himself back up. He's getting ready for another push down the short chute here from the 60 of Jeff Merck. Through the trial, this is where these trucks are the bumpiest. That's where we saw the first wreck. Everybody moves up a little bit. Seems to usually work out pretty well when we're 2 wide. Once we start getting 3, sometimes even 4 wide, which we may see tonight, that's when things don't Both go well. With 2 to go, we're going to check back in on the battle real quick because it is an important one. John Ernst currently in the tribal. Tyrell Baker in turn 3. I don't think he's quite going to have enough time. They're both really slow. One's 17 miles an hour faster than the other one, so we'll keep it up front for the rest of the way. Nash Brambilla dicing around, trying to get a couple more positions. Drops back behind the 31 machine. Stuart Broderick. But up front, still 2x2 battle. Matthew Baker, Steve Korsak. They can see the starter holding the white flag in the air. Into the tribal, Sean Corbett. No move yet. I think Matt Lee and the 60 Jeff Merck are thinking 3 wide by the end of this thing. White flag is in the air. One more time around. No cautions. Who's going to take heat 1? Side by side through turn 1. Oh, the 16. Jimmy Crow moves up just a little bit. These guys are trying to hold it on the door, that inside line. Here we go. Final chance to get a big run down the backstretch there. Coming up on the lap car of Tyrell Baker. Here we go. Third lane is going to form. It's going to be Stewart and Nash. Can they make it work? Matt Lee jumps in front of him. It is now going to be 3x3. Guys, got to be careful. We got to make it back to the line. You don't want to accidentally lose your spot in the main race. 2x2 battle up front, though. That third lane doesn't look like they're going to make a run in time. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Matt Lee has a run on the bottom. Matthew Baker, though, still out in charge. Through the tribal, Steve Korsak gets a little side draft. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Steve Korsak steals it. What a heat. I don't know if the second heat's going to be able to top that one up. Boy, they stayed clean, fast, and 3x3 all the way through that last lap. That was intense, but your winner is Steve Korsak. Started on the pole, finishes where he started. Let's go back, though, real quick and watch this white flag lap. Actually, let's watch closer to the checkered because things really got crazy more towards the end of this. And right here is where the run really started happening all of a sudden. Didn't think that. I thought that middle lane had lost pretty much all the momentum, but all of a sudden, just like that, they were back up there. Steve Korsak starts to get a little run right here. And it was just in enough time. Here we go. Slow it down. There it is right there. The 60, Jeff Merck, got a big push for the 27 at the perfect time. And at the line, it really was just that close. And that will wrap it up. Of course, we don't have time to show you all the results for Heat 1, at least not right now, because we have Heat 2 starting right away. We will get into it a little bit more. I'll tell you what we'll do, though, while these guys grid up, because I do want everybody to know who made it to the main race in case you have anybody specifically that you were watching. So we'll pull up the results for that now. You see it. First place was Steve Korsak. Second is going to be Matthew Baker. Third, Matt Lee. Fourth, Jeff Merck. Rounding out the top 5 is going to be Jimmy Crow. 6th, Stuart Broderick. 7th, Francisco Villarreal. 8th is going to be Sean Corbett. 9th, Nash Brambilla. 10th, Ron Morris Jr. 11th, Dean Grob. 12th, Kyle Knapp. 13th, John Mullahan. 14th, Brian Bassard. And the last spot, transfer spot for Heat 1, is going to go to John Ernst. Tyrell Baker finishes 16th. WB James 17th. 18th, Danny Esserman, the last car in the field for 19th. Give me 1 second here. Finishing in 19th, as she there is going to be Ryu James in the 91 truck. Drivers still gridding up. We're getting ready to go. And I think McCall Motorsports has just about all their drivers in this one. Ron Morris Jr., of course. Actually, I don't know if he was in here tonight. No, I know I saw him somewhere. We'll find out. Let's see who's in who. Take this down. Getting ready to go here. Let's go down to the blimp cam. And let's go back live where the field should just about be rolling, if not quite yet. Here we go. Let's get right in to your starting grid for Heat 2. Starting in the pole in Heat 2. Steve Korsak's one of his good friends, drafting buddy. And guess who? It's his birthday today, Zachary Lima. What better birthday gift to get himself a win tonight? We'll see. Starts here. Second is going to be the outside pole sitter of Raymond Rittenar the second. Third place is going to be Sean Hill. Fourth, another. Oh, that's Kenneth Stamper, actually. Good to see Kenneth back out here. It caught me by surprise. I thought it would be Ken McCall Jr. However, starting fifth is going to be Ken McCall Jr. His outside is one of his teammates. McCall's Motorsports is Mark Vondell. Seventh, David Sheets. Eighth, Larry McDonald. Jason Main starts ninth. To his outside is going to be Jay Dargert. 11th, Danny Barnes. 12th, is going to be John Ellis. We saw John have a pretty good run in that last race. See what he can do tonight. Moving back to 13th is going to be J.R. Miller. Starting 14th is going to be Timothy Stubblefield. I'll tell you what, I'm looking at it, and it looks like, keep going by the way, the grid is not over, of course, because 15th is Michael Triscaro, 16th, Ambrose Knievel, 17th is going to be Kason Harnish. And the last truck in the field tonight, one of the fan favorites, is going to be Braxton DeWeese in the 8 truck. So he's going to have a lot of work ahead of him. We'll see if he can get it done. Let's go up front. Give a little bit more credit, a little bit of a shout out, if you will, to your pole sitter, Zachary Lima on the Red Bull Racing Machine. One of my favorite paint schemes as well, just basic, but you see it, Dale Cup. One of the other founders and drivers, of course, of Dale Cup. He's going to have a good pusher behind him, but he's going to have tough competition to his outside with Raymond Rittenauer II. And Kenneth Stamper. Good to see Kenneth back in here. Like I said, I have not seen him in a while.
Green.
Whoa, that was a little bit of a... That was the thing. We'll have to go back live as these guys have already got to racing. A little unsure what the heck just went wrong there. And I'll tell you what, I'm not sure what's going on right here for my thing. There we go. I'm so sorry for that. Drivers are in turn 1 of lap 1 right now. We'll talk more about what just went wrong right there. Overlay was stuck on replay. Either way, though, Zach Lima gets to the top right away. He's going to try to block that 87, who's giving him a big push now. The bottom, though, 2 teammates, McCall Motorsports, Alex Hill, Sean Hill they call him, and Ken McCall Jr. on the bottom trying to prevail. They got David Sheets, so those 3 are not going anywhere anytime soon. We'll see how quick some of these guys further back. And I'll tell you what, Braxton Louise already up 3 spots in the 8 truck. Right now, the guys that would not be making it to that final race would be Kason Harnish, John Ellis, and Michael Triscaro. Actually, Michael Triscaro would make it, it would be 15th of Ambrose Knievel's in. They keep switching, so right now it would actually be Ambrose Knievel, John Ellis, and Kason Harnish that would not make it to the main event. So we'll have to see how everything pans out. A lot of guys making a lot of headway, though, here early. Timothy Stubblefield is also up 3 positions in the 79 truck. These trucks looking like they're bouncing around a little bit more than what we saw in Heat 1. The guys aren't getting as racy, at least yet. Oh, just as I say that, Zachary Lima slams the door on Sean Hill. Ken McCall Jr. has to check up. That's going to back up that inside just a little bit. But out of turn 4, we will be coming to 16 laps to go this time. To ride on board. Actually, just right out back here, Zachary Lima. As you see Sean Hill, he's one of the self-proclaimed best pushers in Super Speedway racing. He tells everybody so. Here he is trying to prove it. Staying nice and tight on the back bumper of that 4 machine. Looking out now in the back of Kenneth Stamper. Jason Maines not pushing the pusher, staying respectful of it. Track map, you see it there. The whole field is still together. That's what we like to see. Nobody sitting back right now. Everybody up here wanting to race. But if there's a wreck, then maybe you do want to sit back. And maybe that is why Kason Harnish hasn't decided to get any more racy than he is right now. Mark Mondell looked like he was thinking about maybe going 3 wide, realized nobody was going to go with him, tucks himself right back down low. Raymond Rittenauer II is going to try to get in front of this 4 truck. Zachary Lima, we'll see if he thinks about blocking. Wasn't able to do it that time. Going to have to stick to the bottom for now. Ride with the blimp cam here. You see it's a pretty big pack, but they are absolutely moving down the short chute into turn 1. Take a look at the speeds. Compared to that first group, looks like it's about the same right now. Sometimes we see these guys pushing a little harder. They might run a little faster. If they're not pushing as hard, maybe a little bit slower. But Zachary Lima trying to stay in control of this field. Sean Hill gets right to his bumper, but Kenneth Stamper gets to the bumper of the 87, trying to push him out in front. They're just going to stay dead even in a drag race down the backstretch as they approach 189 into turn 3. Ken McCall Jr. sitting 3rd on the inside. I don't think he has any plans to go anywhere. Neither does Jason Maines, 3rd on that outside line. At least not till the end of this thing. That first race, they were able to get racy on the last lap because even if they wrecked, they were all pretty much guaranteed to be locked in, having those other 2 cars a lap down for the transfer position. However, in this race, if everybody's still on the lead lap coming to that white flag, if you wreck, there's a good chance you may be out of it. 3 drivers going to be going home right now. That would be Ambrose Knievel, Mark Mondell, and Kason Harnish. Only top 15 will make it. right now, your biggest mover in the race is Braxton Louise. He is up 6 spots, now up to 12th place in that 8 machine. Second biggest mover is going to be Timothy Stubblefield in the 79 machine that has him here listed as the 22. Some of the guys going in the wrong direction. Mark Vondell down 11 spots right now. Not what he wanted to do. Everyone else that is down a spot is only down a spot or two. So Mark Vondell going to need some help here to get back to the front. And this might be exactly what he needs as he sees Michael Triscaro in the 21 of John Ellis jumping 3 wide on that top lane. And they are going to get some takers too. J.R. Miller, that is another Team PGR driver. He's going to get up there to try to overall help his teammate in the 34. John Ellis was one of those really good drivers in the last race. Led some laps, had a chance at winning it. Got caught up in an incident, but boy, he is pushing the 34 down the back. It is just a matter of time before these two have made their way to the front. One thing I do want to mention real quick while we're in this heat race, please let me know if everything sounds good on my part for audio. Let me know if the graphic looks okay. Let me know if the trucks are loud enough. That is one of the big things we try to work on. Back up front though. This third lane tries to get up here. It's still Zachary Lima and Raymond Rittenard second. We are coming to 12 laps to go this time. Michael Triscaro's got a push from the 21, but they've lost that third truck just for the time being. Got to have at least 3 trucks locked onto each other. You don't want to push the pusher, but that third truck's job is mainly to keep that second truck up there on the bumper, and you can do that with just the air. That's usually what they'll do, but out of turn 2, this is where that outside third lane should really be able to get a lot of momentum. And that 21, I don't think he's afraid to push. Not quite able to get to his bumper just yet. Now he does. Kaysen Harnish still sitting back in the 51 with Ambrose Knievel. Ambrose playing it safe a little bit right now. Maybe a couple into a Miller Lite right now. Or a couple Miller Lights in right now. Gonna play it safe. Wait till the end of this thing before he gets racy. 4 of Zachary Lima though, still leading in front of the race. Sounded a little weird the way I just said that, but he's still out in front. 87 Raymond Rittenard the second. I wonder if he's thinking about jumping high. Kenneth Stamper's been pushing for a while, and that's why he's had to back it up a little bit. These trucks get hot pretty quick. You can't push a guy forever. 2-3 laps to go. As long as your temps are pretty cool to begin with, you can start pushing and not let off, but we still have 11 laps left. These guys can't push just yet. They'll push, they'll clump trap, but we won't see them really locking on and doing those tandems that we'll see later in the race. Kaysen Harnish still looking for somewhere to go. Nothing yet. Braxton Louise has dropped just a couple of distance for the moment. So has Timothy Stubblefield, who is now currently down 2 spots from where he started. Last truck on the outside in that 79. He is outside the transfer spot right now. So is Kaysen Harnish and Ambrose Knievel. Braxton Louise, one of the last trucks in it. Mark Vondell has now got his way back into it. Raymond Rittenard, the second, led that lap. The 34, Michael Triscaro, still trying to get out in front. I think he gets he's thinking about dropping low if he can. 10 laps to go, but we are seeing 3x3. This is a lot earlier than what we saw in Heat 1. That seems to be the way it goes whenever we get heat racing. One of the heats a little bit more calm than the other one. However, these guys doing a nice job of keeping everything clean so far tonight. Getting themselves set up to maybe go 4 wide in the race. Don't think anybody's going to be quite that risky in the heat, but how about Michael Triscaro? In case anybody missed it, the race that he was in earlier, about 5 minutes left, he wanted to make the race, so he was speeding home. I mean speeding home. Just about as he got to his house, got pulled over by a cop. Had to use an excuse of sort. Not really an excuse, but either way, was able to get off the hook. Didn't get a ticket, nothing. Cop let him go. Made it home in time for the race, and you know what he did? He went up there and got second. Well, maybe it's a good luck charm. It looks like, oh my goodness, someone is really rooting for Kaysen Harnish right now in the chat. You see him still sitting back there in the middle. Now he's going to jump to the top, trying to move a little bit to the front. Some of these guys are realizing with 9 to go, it's go time. Chris Louise asked how many drivers are advancing in the heat. Remember, it's top 15 from each heat. And you see it there, we have 18 in this heat. That means the top 15 are going to advance. And right now, Mark Vondell, the 59, Timothy Stubblefield in the 79, and the 51 of Kaysen Harnish are not going to make it. They're going to have to pick up a couple more spots. Sean Hill takes the lead as the 4 Zachary Lima jumps up to the middle line. Now he has Ken McCall Jr. behind him and David Sheets. And that trio of McCall Motorsports would like to hold the bottom exactly where they are. They get good starting spots, and they'd have a safe finish. third lane. Michael Triscaro, boy, give credit to him and John Ellis. They have kept trying and trying. Even J.R. Miller as well. These guys haven't given up on it. Unfortunately, though, they just haven't quite been able to get all the way to the front. They've tried and tried. Seems like maybe they're going to need a little bit more help of sorts. Zachary Lima, though, really likes to feel that middle lane. Oh, I think I'd be on the bottom right now. A little bit safer place to be, but Zachary Lima, he doesn't really care about being safe. He's here to win, and sometimes to win it, you got to put yourself in the best position, even if it's not the safest position. Into the travel 3x3. These trucks bumping around more and more as each lap ticks off. It is going to be 7 laps to go this time around. And as we look further back, it has not changed. Mark Mondell, Timothy Stubblefield, and Kason Harnish are still the 3 that are not in the transfer spot. Got to give them a little credit because it's hard to go somewhere when these guys get 3x3. I think right now, if I'm sitting in the back, though, I like maybe going up to that third lane. You at least get yourself up there guaranteed as long as they don't wreck. But they might be waiting on a wreck still. We got a Danny Barnes fans in here. How about it? Let's give some love to Danny Barnes here running the top 13. He would be locked in right now. He will make it to the feature if he can stay where he is on the bottom lane in that 7 truck. Braxton DeWeese still sitting just inside the transfer spot in 13th. Larry McDonald, another McCall Motorsports driver that would make it into the feature as of right now. Jay Dargert, David Sheets, Jason Maines. Jason Maines being a little bit more quiet in this race than we're used to seeing. 8 to go. He can get up there and go. And Kenneth Stamper looks like he's a Road to Pro driver this year. You see him running 3rd in that middle lane. Here we go. The outside has some momentum again. They're going to try to do it and get all the way up here. 3x3 down the back. 6 to go. Michael Triscaro not giving up on it. Neither is either of his 2 pushers. And Mark Vondell is going to go. Here we go. Braxton DeWeese now jumps to the top lane. Mark Vondell is going to follow. And that is going to really make it clog up. Now I think if you haven't gone yet, now you're just going to have to sit and hope they wreck. But boy, how about the racing these guys have been putting on so far. 3x3 since a couple laps in. Michael Triscaro gets a nose out in front finally. Not able to get clear, but this is a good sign for that outside line. They picked up that extra help with the 8 of Braxton DeWeese and the 59 of Mark Vondell. And with 5 laps to go, Michael Triscaro has now drew even with both leaders on the inside and middle lanes. Sean Hill still leads the bottom. Zachary Lima tries to get a little side draft. Ken McCall Jr. trying to keep his teammate out in front. Those 2 finished 1-2 last night in an FEG race. They've got some pretty good chemistry going. And I think the only thing that 34 truck needs right now is maybe another police car to jump behind him. And just like that, they might be in the front. Zachary Lima almost got clear of the bottom. I think he was probably thinking about trying to jump low. Zachary Lima still making sure he stays nice and close on the door. That 77, and we have got to take a look real quick. I did not even notice this, but look at Zachary Lima's helmet. Look in the cockpit. That SpongeBob on his helmet. That's one of the greatest things that I have seen. Him and Steve Korsak have some of the funniest helmet designs. Either way, though, up front, still 3x3. Michael Triscaro is trying to pull even. He's got to lean on the door a little bit more, and people will tell you this too. If you are on either of those top lanes, the goal is to pin down that other lane, get a side draft in the corner, because on the back, you're already given a little bit more momentum by being behind the rest of the field. And with 3 laps to go next time, you can really tell some of these guys it's desperate, it's go time. If you are in the back and you don't go now, you're not going to make it. Kason Harnish, Timothy Stubblefield, Mark Vondell right now, all 3 of those guys still not in the transfer spot. Mark Vondell right now going to try to get around Ambrose Knievel if he can for it. The 79 is going to drop low. These guys might have to think about 4 wide if we make it to the white flag. Might be their best shot at it. It's 3 laps to go, though. Up front, still the same top 3. Raymond Rittenauer the second, pushing on the 4 up top. The 21, John Ellis is pushing on Michael Triscaro. And on the bottom, Ken McCall Jr. is pushing the 77, Sean Hill. Boy, these guys, if they weren't tight earlier, they are now. There's just about no gaps in any lane. But here we go. Kason Harnish gets a spot in front of Ambrose Knievel. We'll see if he thinks about dropping in the middle. Oh, he can't do it in time. And that is going to pin him back behind the 59, one of the drivers he's fighting for that transfer position. And right now, you see it, those back 3 that are 3 wide, they would not make it. But this outside is starting to clog up a little bit. The middle has the momentum right now, but usually that indicates that this top is going to have a lot on the backstretch. We'll see if it plays out. Either way, it's 2 laps to go. Last chance for a caution this lap. If we make it to the white flag, we will finish this thing off under green no matter what happens. Braxton DeWeese currently up 10 spots. Or sorry, Michael Triscaro, man, is currently up 10 spots. What a run from the driver, the 34. Braxton DeWeese up 6 spots. John Ellis Jr. up 5. Braxton DeWeese currently up 7 now. Zachary Lima gets clear. This bottom all of a sudden lost a little bit of momentum. We'll see if that 4 drops low. That could play a factor for some of those guys further back. Looks like he doesn't, though. I think he's committed to that middle lane in front of that 87, and I think he is going to stay there. Further back, oh, looks like something has happened to Ambrose Knievel. That shuffles it up a little bit. That puts Case and Harnish, Timothy Stubblefield, and Ambrose Knievel out of it right now. Ambrose is getting a draft. He is not done. He's going to have another shot at it, but white flag is in the air one more time around. Can they keep it clean? The bottom of Sean Hill has the momentum. He inches out in front of the 7. Will try to get up high, open it up to his teammate. I think at this point they're committed to staying on that bottom and finishing where they run. Michael Triscaro, one final time down the back. Can he get enough momentum to clear the leaders? Don't think he's got enough time, but he is going to try it anyway. Ambrose Knievel, and now Danny Barnes is out of the transfer spot. Case and Harnish currently in, but it is swapping so quick we can't tell. Up front, Zachary Lima, Sean Hill, the outside starting to fade. Here we go into the short chute, and then the trial, and that'll be all it. Side by side is the 77 and Zachary Lima. We might see another photo finish. One more push. The 87 gives to the 4 at the line, though. It's going to go to Zachary Lima. And out back, it looks like Case and Harnish transfers in. Timothy Stubblefield did not make it. I believe Ambrose Knievel was also out, and there was one more driver. It may have been Danny Barnes. No, Danny Barnes did make it, and I apologize. So everybody just hold your horses here for just a second, because this thing goes so quick, doesn't give us a chance to actually check about everybody who made it. So we're going to pull the results up for you here. And boy, these races keep getting more and more crazy as we go on. The feature is going to be wild. Finishing first tonight in that second heat was Zachary Lima, the birthday boy. Second, though, is going to be Sean Hill. Third, Raymond Rittenauer, the second. Fourth, Ken McCall Jr. Fifth, Kenneth Stamper. Sixth, David Sheets. Seventh, Michael Triscaro. Eighth is going to be Larry McDonald. Ninth, Jason Maines. 10th is going to be John Ellis Jr. 11th, J.R. Miller. 12th is going to be Jay Dargert. 13th, Danny Barnes. 14th, Braxton DeWeese. And the last driver that made it in, Case and Harnish. That means Timothy Stubblefield. Mark Vondell and Ambrose Knievel, unfortunately, are going to have to pack it up and head home early. These guys put in a valiant effort, just not quite enough. They needed just a little bit more. And now let's go down where these guys, you see it right here, they're getting ready to roll off for the main event. Going to be a little short, so let's start with your race info. It is ISSL Money Racing, presented by Christian iRacers. We are at Talladega Superspeedway. It is a big 2.66 mile with a tri-oval, heavy banking in the corners, long straightaways. Weather's going to be partly cloudy with 2-mile-an-hour winds. 58%, I believe that says humidity, and 79 Fahrenheit air temp. Take a look at the race format. That's going to be more important than any of this. We are on the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. It is going to be a 36-lap event, 100% fuel. There is going to be a pit stop. Unlimited tires, but this right here, no fast repairs. That is what a lot of these drivers have their eye on. They're going to be making sure they're careful of. And it is fixed setups as well. Let's get into your starting grid now. These guys are getting ready to go green. Starting on the front row, I don't think they could have asked for a better way to start the race. These two are going to be dangerous. They're going to try to link up early. It's going to be Steve Korostek with the pole and Heat 1 win. And Zachary Lima with the outside pole and Heat 2 win. Starting in the second row, it's going to be Matthew Baker and Sean Hill. Third row is going to be Matt Lee and Raymond Rittenauer the second. Seventh, Jeff Merck, Ken McCall Jr. 8th. Jimmy Crow Jr. 9th. Kenneth Stamper 10th. 11th is going to be Stuart Bradrick. 12th, David Sheets. Moving back down to 13th. 13th is going to be Francisco Villarreal. 14th, Michael Triscaro. 15th, Sean Corbett. 16th, Larry McDonald. Row 9 is going to be Nash Brambilla and Jason Maines. Row 10, Ron Morris Jr. and John Ellis Jr. 21st is going to be Dean Grob, J.R. Miller, his outside in 22nd. 23rd, Kyle Knapp. 24th, Jay Dargert. 25th is going to be John Mullahan. 26th, Danny Barnes. 27th, Brian Bassar. 28th, Braxton DeWeese. 29th, John Erst, and 30th, the last car that made the feature, is going to be Kason Harnish. I should say truck, rather. Either way, pace car is going to pull off. We're ready to go. It's the iRacing Super Stock League here on Ghost Racing Network. 30-lap event, a lot of money up on the line. Steve Korsek ready to lead the field to green, works his way now into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Talladega. Pretty good start for both drivers, but Matthew Baker has already found the back end of that 27, and he is going to push him right from the start through the corner. They start to bail out of it just a little bit. You see the field getting a little separated already. 36 laps. It's a decent amount of time, but it's not as much as you would think. And it looks like Sean Corbett missed the start. I assume he must have missed the start unless he was sitting on pit road. Either way, showing him currently a lap down. We'll see how it pans out if we were to get a caution. But no faster pairs. These guys, are they going to play conservative earlier? Do you try to go aggressive, get in the track position? Steve Korsek still down low with Matthew Baker. Zachary Lima only has the 77 with him still. Not sure what happened to the rest of this pack. But you see it. They are really broken up. That outside line, just no help right now. If you are just tuning in and you missed anything, we'll give you a quick recap while we're in the early stages. We have 2 heat races to decide the field tonight. We started with 37. We moved it down to 30, which made it to the main feature tonight. Kason Harnish got the last spot in the field, getting 15th in heat 2. Had a caution in the first heat, no cautions in the second heat, but boy, the racing was absolutely incredible. And if that's any indication what we're going to see in this race, it's going to be something special. Steve Korsek, Zachary Lima started off on the front row. They're trying to keep it that way, but boy, Zachary Lima's hopped in to lean really hard on the quarter panel of Matthew Baker. It's the only way that outside's able to stay up there right now. Don't have a lot of help. Tell you what, let's go back and look through the field, see how some of these guys in the back are doing. Of course, Sean Corbett riding a lap down right now. Missed the start. John Ernst got damaged in the first heat, was able to limp it home, and here he is with a clean truck and a chance. Kason Harnish just in front of him, and then it's Brian Bassard, John Mullahan, Braxton DeWeese, Kyle Knapp, J.R. Miller, Danny Barnes, Michael Triscaro, all drivers just outside of your top 20 right now. They are hanging way back, and this might be a factor of that no faster pair rule that Ian puts into place for these races. Good thing about it, these races extra clean. That's what we like to see. Bad thing about it, if you're in the field, something goes wrong, not of your fault. Your race is done. I do want to ask, like I asked earlier, let me know if the audio sounds okay in chat and everything. Truck audio, my audio. Graphic looks okay. I always appreciate when you guys let me know about that stuff. Steve Korsek, though, now he has some competition. The 4, Zachary Lima, got a push, but Sean Hill's going to have to drop out of it. I don't know if that truck was just getting too hot or if he's wanting to save fuel or just straight up get out of it. But Steve Korsek going to help the birthday guy out, jumps up top. That's going to put Zachary Lima and Steve Korsek on the bottom. Those are 2 of the funniest helmets together. Almost looks weird when you see SpongeBob and then an angry face and Steve Korsek's, but that opens the lead up to a new leader of Matthew Baker. He's got Matt Lee pushing him. Raymond Rittenauer the second, the 3rd truck on that inside line. Into the tri-oval as this race goes on. These guys will not be too wide like they are now, but there is going to be a pit stop somewhere in line because the trucks, even if you save fuel, you can only go about 30 to 32 laps. Excuse me. You can only go 30 to 32 laps. So it's going to be interesting if we see early pit stops or if we see late pit stops. Sean Corbett, I don't think he's actually a lap down. No, he just missed the start. That's what it was. So he had it messed up a little bit. Jay Kentel lets us know that the audio sounds good. I do appreciate that. Up front, still Steve Korsek. How about NASCAR and Bilodeau? See him in the middle of this pack. Let's shout out to some of these guys that we don't normally see. Dean Graw being one of them. The 14 driver. The Cinnamonson, New Jersey. There he is, running in the 14 machine. Currently sitting 8th, up 13 spots. Sometimes I think they should do more hard charger work because some of these guys do some impressive feats throughout the race to get all the way up here. Right now, it looks like he is your biggest mover, up 13 spots. On the backside of that, Sean Corbett is down 15, but the biggest loser out of all of it right now is going to be Sean Hill, who is down 23 spots. Good news for him is I think this was planned. He's going to fall back here, try to maybe link back up with some of his McCall Motorsports teammates. He'll get back up there, but he's just going to save some fuel right now. Remember, if you are out running up front, you are wasting the most fuel. Let's do a little ISSL, crank it up here on a Saturday night. Here we go. Segment of Crank It Up. I hope everybody did enjoy. Steve Korsek still leads the way. Zachary Lima leading the outside. Guess who's made their way up here we haven't seen so far? It's gonna, oh, here we go. Pit stops. Hold that thought. Can everybody? Oh, Matthew Baker gets turned into the grass. Oh, looks like the 87 Raymond Rittenard, the second, hit him. 4 wide, further back in the pits. But this is disaster for Matthew Baker and Raymond Rittenard. Baker's just going to have to get it back on track, not even going to be able to go to the pits. Raymond Rittenard, the second, does get back on pit road. But let's see who wins the race out. These guys just going to take a splash and go. Looks like Matt Lee is going to win the race out, followed by Jeff Merck, Jason Maines. Let's go take a look at what happened, though. Just guys getting it a little too hot, I think. Let's watch this TV3 here when this initially happens. Something may have happened up front too to Case and Harnish. We'll take a look at that in just a second. We're going to play it nice and slow for you here. Watch the 5 machine right on your outside here. It looks like Raymond Rittenard the second. Somebody darts in front of him. He has to jump to that outside line and then just tags the back of Matthew Baker. Let's back this up one more time, actually. Watch it right here. Matthew Baker actually coming down a little bit, trying to make it. Either way, the point is they get together. Matthew Baker spins it, slides, and once you get in that grass, just takes up your time, slides for so much longer. These guys hate to see it. You see them both around in the grass. Didn't draw any caution, though. Something may have happened to Case and Harnish, though, as well. I'm not 100% sure, but let's see. Nothing about it here. This was right after that pit stop. Oh no. Not sure what happened to the driver of the 51, but that was an abrupt and sudden. Oh, wow. It looks like his wheel is locked, doesn't it? Not sure if this. Oh, wow. Oh, he must have had technical difficulties of sort because watch this. Let's ride on board with him. Watch his wheel. Oh, my goodness. That is major technical difficulties for the 51. That engine run, and that thing's going to blow up shortly if he wasn't able to somehow find a way to shut it off. We got an update on it, but we got to go back live. Hopefully we didn't miss anything too crazy. There's a lot to catch up on. Looks like we may have had some more guys come to the pits. We will know once everybody cycles out if the race is on, as Baker's mom says, crude. Robert Miller says, sounds great, thank you. And let's see just how everything is shuffled out. Oh, no, unfortunately, Kason Harnish so far sitting in the pits. And you'll be able to see just how many laps down he is on your scoring tower. Currently not showing it yet. That means he may not have quite gone more than a lap down, but we'll have to find out. Raymond Rittenauer, the second, got a penalty. Sitting back here in 28th right now. Danny Barnes, Kyle Knapp, a couple other guys that may have sped on pit road. Sean Corbett, Larry McDonald, J.R. Miller. This is where we have our first, or our second pack rather. We can show you the track map. You'll see right there, this field's pretty broken up. This is the back pack right now, and then we have David Sheets, Ron Morris Jr., and Michael Triscaro. That is one of the pack, that's the pack in front of them. Matthew Baker, he is not pitted yet because there's, I'm not sure if he has, but either way, he's not going to be able to be with the lead pack once he does. So I think that is the case. I think he is just hoping for a caution now. It's going to run it out. Zachary Lima in the back of his main pack. But boy, they are getting racy all of a sudden. Kevin McCall Jr. is pushing Jay Dargert. And this is a 3-wide battle because this is the lead pack. And you see it there, circled, outlined in green. Jeff Merck leading the way in the 60 machine. Behind him is Jason Maines, and I think those two might be working together. Danny Barnes maybe going to bring it back down pit road. Nope, just going to stay out of the way of these leaders. It looks like he did have some contact from something. Not sure exactly where he got that contact. But 3 wide here. Looks like Ken McCall Jr. tucked back in line. He's going to try to regroup and find some of his teammates. And can any of these other packs catch up? If they're 3 wide in the trucks, usually gives everyone else a good chance to catch up. But not always guaranteed, just depends on the day, it seems like. Michael Triscaro is currently leading it. And we'll let you know the gap currently sitting at 4.7 seconds from the back bumper of Sean Hill. That gap is extending right now. This is not what Michael Triscaro and that group wants to see. Jay Cantel gives us an update on Kason Harnish. Says, I'm in a call with Miller. He said his wheel locked and he is now AFK. Hate to see that. Boy, that was abrupt, but what, well of a job not getting anybody else involved in it. Back up front, they are going 3x3. Zachary Lima, Steve Korsek maintaining their position on that outside by themselves, but now the 57 and the 5 are going to pull up to try to help. Matthew Baker has not pit yet. He is going to need to, though, to make it. He is just still out here. He's plenty good with getting these guys to get racy because he knows he's going to need a caution. Don't think he'll think crazy enough to try 4 wide. He's definitely encouraging this third lane, and he likes what he's seeing out his front windshield right now. Sean Hill, Ken McCall Jr. That is 2 McCall Motorsports teammates, the only 2 in this front pack, and you see they're sitting back. They see this 3-wide action. They know there's no fast repair, knowing that there's probably nowhere to go and that they can't get all the way to the front 4 wide with just 2 cars. 2 trucks, rather. They are just going to sit back here and ride for a little bit, see what happens. We still have a decent amount of laps to go. We are coming to 22 to go this time. With the amount of cars that are in this lead pack, they don't necessarily need to get too racy until we get somewhere within the final 10 laps is when you really want to start thinking about going to the front. But Steve Korsek really has to lean on Matt Lee's door to try to stay up there. They are coming up on a lap car. See if we can see who that is. That's going to be Kyle Knapp in the 12. Not the day Kyle was looking to have right now. And I'm thinking there may have been some contact entering pit road. We didn't get any actual data on it. I'm not going to worry about taking a look at it just yet. Sean Corbett currently sitting on the lead lap, it looks like. Actually, sorry, I meant to say the first car a lap down. Danny Barnes is the last car sitting on the lead lap right now. In front of him, Raymond Rittenauer the second in that whole little pack. John Ernst has a couple guys with him. And then this is that pack that is trying everything they can to track down the back bumper of Sean Hill. You see they have lined up. They are running a little tighter, but it doesn't look like it's enough right now as the gap is 7 seconds. We will continue to monitor it, though. 20 laps is still plenty of time, especially with these guys being 3 wide and racing as hard as they are. 3 lanes pushing as hard as they can versus 1 lane pushing as hard as they can. I guess somehow that's how it works out. I'll tell you what, all these guys are kind of, I guess I shouldn't say cruising because they are still 3 wide. There's still something that could happen just about at any moment. We're going to try to take a look at your payouts real quick while these guys are staying 3 wide for a moment. and let you know what we're looking at tonight, because it is top 10 payout. We got that much down. There is going to be a couple other things to note of. It was based on 60 entries. We had 37, so over half the payout still going to be valid. Money good. These guys not going to complain about it, that is for sure. Let me tell you something. If you could take a guess how much your winner's going home with today, would you guess $462? Well, that's what it's going to be. Top 10 do get paid out. It'll be big payouts first through fourth, and then fifth through 10th will be a smaller payout, but guys will get at least their money back. I think that's all they really care about, if nothing else. But if you asked any one of these drivers right now what they're here to do, I can promise you they're not going to tell you they're here to get their money back. It's not what money racing is about. They are here to take the win and go home with it. Jeff Merck has jumped up to the middle lane. Jason Maines on the bottom. Steve Korsek still up top with Zachary Lima. Heard Steve tell me earlier, if he had the chance, he would think about pushing Zachary Lima to a win. Lima has pushed Korsek to a couple already. But boy, it just seems to shake out where they're always 1-2 behind each other in this form. Lima behind Korsek. They still got plenty of laps to change that up if they so choose. Kason Harnish still sitting on pit road, and you see that wheel is still locked. Kenneth Stamper, not sure what issue he's had because that truck looks clean. He's in pits. Kyle Knapp, Sean Corbett still all sitting back. Jimmy Crow Jr. in the 16. Ryan Bassar. Let's check the gap on this pack that they're all in again. They've, no, unfortunately they have lost about another second to this front pack. And that surprises me because this front pack is 3x3. Not organized to say the least, but I believe it was Matt Lee, Mr. Goat himself, is what they call him. Told me one time when we were trying to catch pack, he said, guys, let's go 2 wide, maybe 3 wide, but he said 2 wide. We all were like, well, why is that? He told us it breaks the air up, more trucks, less air hitting the back trucks, you can push faster, and the best way to prove if that's true is let's take a look at some of the speeds and then the lap times of some of these guys. Up front, Matt Lee, sorry, let's go to Steve Korsek up front, who is running about 187, 188 down into the corner. Take a look at his lap time. Last 2 laps, that's what I want you to look at. Lap 17 and lap 18, you see it there, 51.8 and a 52 flat. Let's go back to Michael Triscaro, who's the first truck leading this pack, trying to catch. Take a look at his lap times, 52.3, 52 flat. So they evened it out this last lap, but they're going to have to be able to run faster in order to make up the deficit that they're down right now. And we can look at the speed, too. Oh, I thought he got a little out of shape for a second. I think I just saw a little glitch or something. Let's go back up front, though. Jason Maines still leading the way. Behind him is John Ellis Jr. Braxton DeWeese also in this main pack. I gotta say he's probably the biggest fan favorite that is still up here in the lead pack. Kason Harnish, one of the fan favorites with a wheel issue, and Timothy Stubblefield did not make the main feature, another one of the fan favorites. Matthew Baker, though, still sitting up here in this main pack. It looks like, I'm almost positive he is not pit yet, unless I missed something, because of course we saw where he got that damage from. It was when he tried to pit, got taken out, him and the 87 got together, spun through the grass, didn't pit, just got right back on the track. Now he will be able to go 30, 32 laps on fuel, especially if he's saving a little bit in the draft. So he can go till we have about 4 laps to go, maybe a couple more. And that is when he is going to have to go, unless we get a caution before then, which is definitely what he's hoping for. And I think that is why he is up here pushing the 27 and the 4, trying to get him to lead. But all of a sudden, it has kind of come to a stalemate up here. Don't get me wrong, the racing has stayed aggressive. We are still 3x3. But Jeff Merck, Jason Maines, Steve Korsek, nobody's really been able to pass each other. They've kind of just stayed where they're at. Jason Maines, one of those road to pro drivers. And how about the run from Francisco Villarreal in the 24 machine? Really solid showing so far. He's got himself in the money right now. And I'll tell you what, just about everybody in this lead pack would be guaranteed money, but not all of them. And that's where we're going to see some racing come into play. Because right now, Braxton DeWeese, John Mullihan, Nash Brambilla, Ken McCall Jr., and Sean Hill, all outside of any money. Let me tell you, they will not give it up easy. They are going to go for it at the end. Right now, this pack just riding in line, trying to run away from this backpack, which they're currently doing. Gap now sits at 10 seconds. And it is safe to say this backpack at this point is going to need a caution to have any chance of getting back up front. say never, especially with the racing we're seeing right now. Once these guys hit 5 laps to go, all chips on the table, checkers or records. Ooh, looks like Jeff Mert washes up just a little bit. Almost makes contact with the left side of Steve Korosek. However, no contact was made, and now it almost looks like the heat races we were in earlier. Back to 3x3 action with under 18 laps to go, 14 to be exact. And action is picking up. Normally we would go to commercial right about now, but it's too good up front here to do that. So we are going to keep it right here. If you are just tuning in, it's 14 laps to go in the ISSL Money Racing Series here at Talladega. Oh, Jeff Mert. Oh, can he hold on to it? He does for a moment. Wow, that was close. What a save from the driver of the 60. You saw Jeff Mert was trying everything to hold on to it. Matt Lee maybe just gave him a little bit of an awkward bump. Because of that, Steve Korosek takes full advantage, drops down to the middle. That's going to put his teammate Zachary Lima up top. Oh, Matt Lee is spinning. We got a couple wrecking. Yellow flag is out. Matt Lee into the grass. Caution is out. Hold on. This is going to change everything. I thought I saw someone else. Oh, no. The 8 Braxton Deweese. Looks like heavy front end damage. You saw him go nose first into the outside travel wall. And we may have another truck. Oh, Jay Degart smoking. His day is done. That truck will not be able to continue this race. Let's go see what happened. These guys I thought were pretty safe. Somehow it seemed like all of a sudden they weren't, though. Look from the chopper view. Remember, these guys do not have fast repairs. So if they get in a wreck and their truck's totaled, their day is done. Here we go. Let's back this up a little bit more, actually, where this is going to start. So Matt Lee's going to try to jump to the top lane here. Looks like he's clear. It's a little close. Looks like he is able to get clear. Braxton Deweese is going to give him a shot. They're not quite in the trouble either way. Looked like a pretty square hit, but it turns Matt Lee. Matt Lee's trying to save it. Braxton Deweese able to hang off of him. But Matt Lee just gets a little behind on his steering, trying to save it. And then the 8's going to get into him once he scrubs off. Enough speed here. That sends the 04 round. The 57, Jay Dargert. Ooh, hard into the outside wall. And then the 8's going to tag him. That's where all the damage for Braxton Deweese is going to come from. And it looks like he's going to make more contact with him. That's one of those things where you're just trying to get away from the guy. It seems like no matter what you do, you can't do it. I want to see how the 57 initially got turned here. He must have gotten hit from this 04 coming back down the track. Oh, he's so close to escaping it. Oh, I don't even know if he hit him. It might have been netcode either way. This turns the 57 in the outside wall. Oh, Jay almost did a heck of a job holding on to it. Couldn't quite do it, though. And just like that, everything changes. We're going to have somebody probably get their lap back. Matthew Baker all of a sudden is going to be back in this race. Some of the big hitters are going to be out of this race. And let's start with that. Let's go on pit road and see how everybody's doing here. Kenneth Stamper's still out. Sean Corbett's on pit road. David Sheets, he's got damage. Not sure where David and them got theirs from. It looks like... Hold on. Let's see what happens here. This is pretty far after the caution came out. Matt Lee spinning it to get back on track here. Just, wow. Oh, no. Oh, no. Ouch. Pulls right. Ah, man. I got to see that one again. Yikes. I got to be honest. Not sure what you call it there. I'm thinking Matt Lee was probably assuming with the caution, because the caution came out before then. Probably thinking that everybody had slowed down, but, you know, kind of pulled back up into traffic right there and caused a lot of these guys damage that they should not have had. So you hate to see that for some of these guys, but and that also Matt Lee, because that tears up his truck when he went from a not too much damage. So I want to ride on board real quick here with David Sheets to see if these guys maybe just couldn't see what was initially happening. That's why they're going full speed or what, because remember, they have to catch pace car even when the caution comes out. Here we go. Riding on board David Sheets. Yeah, you hear him. He's not riding full speed by any means. Oh, no. And then he gets in the grass. Wow, big shot to that pit wall. That, sure enough, is going to end David Sheets' night. Not what you want to see for the McCall Motorsports driver out of Wake Forest, North Carolina. And I can tell you he's probably not too happy right now. And you saw it there. It's one of those positions you might be watching. You say, well, couldn't David have just went a little higher? It's like a mind thing. It's weird. It's almost like when you see someone in public and you go one way and they go the same way. Initially, David was going to go high, but he thought the 04 was going to keep coming high since he had came up. Started going back down. That was when the 04 tried to get back down to get out of the traffic. Just that little bit of delay between that caused the 06 nowhere to go. And you heard it. He wasn't going full throttle. He had already slowed down for the caution, riding at pace speed to try to get back up there. Either way, it might be a night ender. Let's go back to see who we were looking at. You see Jay Dargert. His night is over. That is going to be an engine repair. Lots of required repair. No way he will be back out here anytime soon. Looks like Matt Lee has retired from the race from what I have here. Raymond Rittenauer II is back out on track with damage. David Sheets looks like he is still on pit road. His day looking like it's over. Danny Barnes has retired as well. Kaysen Harnish still sitting on pit road with that wheel lock problem. Hasn't been able to make his way back just yet. They say Baker is going to run out of fuel. He should have had an option to come down and pit. I think he probably already did, so that was probably earlier. I just didn't read it yet. Braxton DeWeese, not sure how damaged this truck is. Ooh, front end looking a little bit flatter than it should right there. And let me tell you, worst place to have damage, unfortunately, is in the front end of the truck. That is where the air hits first. I don't think he's going to be running too fast, but if he's up here in the draft, he'll still have a chance. With 10 to go, things are going to get crazy. We may just have enough guys wreck out. He could still find a way into the money. Let's go over your top 5 as the pace car lights are off. That was a pretty long replay review we had. A lot of stuff to break down right there. Zachary Lima going to be starting first. Jason Maines second. John Ellis Jr. third. Steve Korsek fourth. Jeff Merck is going to be starting in the 5th spot. Shuffle that up a little bit because Steve Korsek is actually going to be starting third. The way it's read out, though, shows him fourth. Oh, and unfortunately, Kaysen Harnish in the chat says wheelbase won't turn back on. I'm out. Hate to see that for you, Kaysen. Man, you had a lot of people in here rooting for you. Thank you for letting us know, though. Guys, appreciate driver skills updates. Hopefully, we'll see you in the next one. Appreciate you coming out here to watch either way. Steve Korsek, Zachary Lima. I think Korsek is thinking about pushing his teammate and good friend to the win here. He's going to have to try to keep him out in front for 10 more laps. Things are about to get wild because there's a lot of money on the line. Remember, $460+ going home to the winner of first. Big payouts for second, third, and fourth. And you can still get your money back if you finish 5th through 10th. Let's find out. Green flag is back out. 10 laps to go in the ISSL Racing Series. Jason Maines gets a jump, stays on the outside. I think he's going to drop low. He knows that's a dangerous combo. Zachary Lima and Steve Korsek. I'd be surprised if he stays up. But it looks like he does. Maybe thanks to momentum's going to be with him on the backstretch. We'll see. But Steve Korsek, Zachary Lima, you see just how much more they have it figured out than everybody else. Able to push in the turns, no issues. Down the backstretch for the first time under this restart. Jason Maines is getting the advantage, but it's not going to be enough because Steve Korsek, Zachary Lima are fighting back. Jason Maines looks a little unsteady on the back bumper, on the front bumper rather, of that 21 machine of John Ellis Jr. And how about the run for John Ellis? Up 15 spots from where he started. Jason Maines up 14. Your biggest mover right now, though, is going to be Dean Grob in the 14, up 16 spots. He is tied. John Mullahan up 16 spots as well. But you see back here, it's messy, and Baker's in the middle of it. He's got to be careful trying to maneuver through all this traffic. Ken McCall Jr. jumps high. It's going to leave Baker in the middle, but it looks like almost the whole field followed that 03 car in sync. And we know once Ken goes to the front, he's going to try to stay there. He is currently leading that third line. Will anybody think about jumping out to block it? Steve Korsek, Zach Lima have moved to the middle. Ooh, a lot of wiggling. Sean Hill's got to be careful pushing that 03. And they are sure enough going to drop down right in front of the 4 and the 27. So how about that power move from McCall Motorsports to get 2 of their trucks into the lead? Jason Maines has fallen out of it. Fifth truck back on the middle lane. Jeff Merck leading that inside, but we'll see if Ken McCall Jr. thinks about jumping down, maybe open it up to his teammate. Boy, they are pushing the heck out of it right now on that middle line. John Mullahan, Michael Triscara on the top. Oh, contact! They're going around, they're wrecking. A lot of guys in this one as well. Yellow flag is out, and this might be the big one. It is. Matthew Baker looks like he may have been involved. The 71 The 21, John Ellis, Jason Maines in the grass. John Mullihan slides back down. Larry McDonald, the 12, they both arrive on the scene. Michael Triscaro has damage. Zachary Lima's all tore up. Francisco Villarreal, Ryan Boussard. And I could not tell initially what happened, so let's go take a look at it. Find out where this is all gonna start. They were 3 wide, but already starts here. Yep, Zachary Lima is gonna make contact. So let's take a look here at Zachary Lima, because that's looks like maybe he's already coming down the track a little bit. Back this up just a little more. I want you to watch. Play it slow for you here. Watch that 4 car, 3rd car in the middle. You see he's kind of trying to follow these 2 in front of him. And I think this is going to be what happens. He's kind of following them. Doesn't realize they've dropped down. Just slight contact with the 60. That gets those 2 together in a hurry. And then that sends both of them back up into John Mullihan. Nowhere to go. Michael Triscaro, nowhere to go. And then the pile up is on from here. Everybody trying to figure out somewhere to go. Zachary Lima gets up in the air on top of the 24, I believe that is. 31, Matthew Baker looks like he's going to slide, make some contact with the 60 of Jeff Merck. Doesn't look like it was too hard of a hit for Matthew Baker, but that truck has other damage. And the rest of these guys just trying to dart through it. Boy, the 31 barely squeaks by. The 71, the snap-on machine, also barely going to squeak by. I want to go right on board if I can find him here with the 30. Let's see who this was. I'm right on board with a couple people here, actually. The first person I want to ride on board with. Let's see who this was that made it through here. Or I believe made it through here at least. Oh, actually, he did get damaged. So I take that back. Did not quite make it through. But let's go right on board with Zachary Lima to see what he was looking at here. If it was what we kind of think it is. Just that tunnel vision kind of thing. Here we go. Sorry, let's pack this up a little bit more so you can get a... So watch him. He's following the bumper here. Just watch what he follows. Sure enough, I'm telling you, I think that's what it looks like. I've done it so many times. It's really weird. It seems like for some reason when you try to follow that truck, you just a lot of times if they don't make it an abrupt move, you can't really tell when they're at the point of being low that it's like, you know, they're trying to like actually take that inside. That was kind of the case there, I felt like. Let's see if we can find... Not sure who exactly this was that made it through this. It was an impressive job of doing so. That's what I'm looking for right now. Cisco Villarreal was all beat up from it. This is who it was, Stewart. I want you to watch Stewart get through this wreck. I know he got some damage from it, though. Oh, he's not, but overall, pretty good save. Let's watch, stick right on board with him. I know he got some damage there, but he minimized it, kept himself maybe with a chance to at least have a shot at it here at the end, even with his damage, versus if maybe he doesn't hold on to that truck too well, just lets go of the wheel, and he's just along for the ride. Let's talk about your current top 5. It's going to be Ken McCall Jr. McCall Motorsports is going to make up row 1. Sean Hill to the outside. Dean Grob 3rd, up 18 spots. Hats off to the 14 truck. 4th is going to be Steve Korosek, and Nash Brambilla started back in his heat race, but he's up here in 5th. Ron Morse Jr., Larry McDonald, those are 2 more McCall Motorsports drivers. They're looking to get up here in the mix. Matthew Baker currently sits on pit road. It is going to be, I believe, like a 4-lap shootout. We'll know here once the pace car turns its lights off, which should be this time. As they go into the oval, we'll find out, but we're going to take a quick break. We're going to go Ghost Racing Network side by side. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are live at Talladega Superspeedway, getting ready for what might be the final restart. You are watching ISSL Money Racing here on Ghost Racing Network with the Green Ghost. Thank you all for coming out. I hope everybody is enjoying and having a good Saturday night. I know I sure am watching these guys go at it. Ken McCall Jr. won a ton of money last night, and boy, he could win even more than that tonight if he can bring it home. Next time, actually, you know what? We'll hold that thought for after. Let's get ready to go green here. Ken McCall Jr., Sean Hill going to be sitting in the first row, and it looks like Ken took the outside, and I'll tell you why he did that. Because this is about to be a team-coordinated restart. Ken McCall Jr. going to jump right down in front of that 77, and that's who he's going to feel most comfortable with pushing him. I think he knows Steve Korsak would take him 3 wide, which he probably would. It's going to help Ron Morse Jr. out as well, but here we go. Rolling up to the Geico restart zone. It is going to be 4 laps to go. Green flag is out. Ken McCall Jr. gets the jump. There he goes, right in front of his teammate Sean Hill in the 77. Take a look at the TV view. A lot of these guys damaged further back. Looks like maybe a little contact. Everybody trying to catch back up to this main pack. Boy, Steve Korsak did not realize how damaged the front of his 27 machine is. I'm surprised this thing is running as fast as it is right now. Now we're going to see a little bit of a chance from Stewart further back in the top lane. Trying to get up here. He's got Kyle Knapp with him. And not going to be able to get anything going. They drop back. Sorry, wrong thing. To say the 71 looked like he was thinking about it. Not going to be able to make anything work. John Ellis, the 31. Francisco. Sorry, Stewart. Man, these guys are confusing me. Francisco, the 24. Stewart in the 31. They're going to jump to the top lane, but Steve Korsak's going to beat him to it. On the outside, here comes the 27. That truck just not looking that fast with the damage he's got. You can see, even with some help from the 14, they're just falling back right now. 3 laps to go. The 77, you got to think, will he consider making a move on his teammate? Ron Morse Jr. has also made it to the bottom. Now is a McCall Motorsports trio leading the way. On to the backstretch. Ken McCall Jr. still out in charge. They are finally going to take Steve Korsak 3 wide. They realize he's got damage. Now we see the 14 on the top. How about Dean Grob trying to get up here, get himself a chance at the win? Going to drop down to the bottom lane now. Nash Brambilla maybe thought about going up. It's not going to have enough time. The 31, Stuart Broderick. He is pushing the 14. Can he push him all the way up to the win? John Ellis Jr. has damage, but that truck looks fine in the draft. This will be the last chance for cautions this lap. 2 laps to go at Talladega. Ken McCall Jr. still leading. Sean Hill second. Ron Morse Jr. third. Ron Morse Jr. fourth. Dean Grob has made his way up to third. Stuart Broderick fifth, but all of a sudden that outside lane has just about got even with the leaders. Damaged cars on the outside, clean cars on the inside. That's what it's a battle of right now. And I thought maybe we'd see Sean Hill think about taking his teammate to the outside just to have a chance at it himself. But boy, he is locked on right now. Doesn't look like he is going to be going anywhere. And once they take the white flag, it'll be checkers or wreckers. First one back's going to win it. It's dropped down to a lot smaller of a pack. Just about everyone in this pack should be getting money. John Ernst, but Matthew Baker and a couple other guys that are sitting back there, they're going to still try to have a shot at it. I don't know if their damage is going to prevent them from it. But here we go. White flag is in the air one more time. Ken McCall Jr. still leading as they shoot down into turn 1. Sean Hill still steady on his bumper. Going to push with everything he's got this last lap. Ron Morse Jr. third on the inside. No move to be made. Will anybody think about 3 wide in that top lane? Lap car gets well out of the way. These guys snaking around a little bit more. Jason Maine trying to get up for a run further back. I don't think he has enough in his truck to do it. Nash Brambilla jumps up top, and the 14 almost got clear. Wasn't quite able to. And that's going to stack up this outside for one more chance at it. Oh, one of them blew up. Oh, it's going to take the whole pack out. I think it was Ron Morse Jr. Everyone wrecks. Ken McCall Jr. is going to get through it. He is going to win at Talladega. He had a great run all night. $462. Here we go as he comes across the line. Ken McCall Jr. wins it at Talladega. And how about that for the way it ended? I could not have saw that coming. I couldn't quite tell who it was that initially blew up. I thought it was Ron Morse Jr., but I'm telling you, I just couldn't tell. Let's go back and take a look at it while Ken is getting down on his cooldown lap. Oh, and I can promise you the rest of the field is not too happy with whatever happened here. Let's take a look at it. See if we can figure out exactly where this is going to start. Watch for one of these engines to expire here. You'll see the smoke come out of the back as soon as this happens. Oh, and I think it's Sean Hill. That would make a lot more sense because Sean was the pusher. Oh, no, man, he was so close. Let's ride on board with him here. And I'll tell you what, I know people are mad, but that is a committed teammate right there. He blew his truck up to keep his teammate out in front. Ken McCall Jr. going to be very happy that his teammate did that. The rest of the field, though, not going to be too pleased. I'm sure Sean Hill going to be upset with himself. Listen, take a listen here. You'll hear this thing blow up, and then it's going to go to the right. Oh, sorry. Sure enough, there it goes, and boy, the wreck is on, and did they wreck big. I don't think anybody got through that. We're going to have to see if this was how anyone got to the line first here. Take a look one more time from TV1. Watch this thing go kaboom right here. The 77, you'll see the smoke start going through the cockpit and out the back here in just a minute. Ron Morris Jr. got up to him at the worst time for that to happen, too. There it goes. Ron Morris Jr. tags him because of that. Sean Hill just barely gets in the 14, and then here we go. Rex on, nobody's lifting. Did the 31 squeak by? No, still gets turned. The 21 up into the wall. Steve Korosek dives low. Guess what? He's not going to be able to avoid it. And they start wrecking big. You see Ron Morris Jr. gets pinched up in the air, and he's going to go over. So is the 21 right in front of all the fans. And boy, the 21 just kept flipping. John Ellis Jr., Ron Morris Jr. still upside down. Steve Korosek. By the way, we will be getting interviews from your top three, so don't miss anything. We're trying to sort out everything that just happened there. Matthew Baker, looks like he squeaked by it. Sure enough, he got second. I didn't even notice this because of just how crazy it was at the end. And boy, I bet he is happy with that. Looks like bringing home the last money spot somehow was Ron Morris Jr. after flipping. And boy, that tells you just how crazy the end of this thing got. I want to take one more ride on board before we do interviews with your top three with John Ellis. And then we will get to it here. What's a ride the driver of the 21 takes right here as he went for a pretty crazy tumble. There you go. You heard him try to stay in it. Unfortunately, just couldn't quite do it, though. Let's go back live. Check out the burnouts done by your leader, Ken McCall Jr. I know he had to burn it down. That's what we'll get to. And then once we get to that, we will go to your top three. Boy, how about that for an ending? I thought it was going to be a classic drag race. All of a sudden, these guys all got together just like that. Not the ending you might have thought we were going to have. Now we are working our way back right here. There we go. We'll make sure we display Ken McCall Jr.'s burnout. Boy, dang, did he do one. I think he burned that thing down until it just about broke. Here we go. We'll play it for you. We're going to go get your top three. Stick with us. We'll be right back. All right, and I have found your top three. First, we're going to start with third place finisher, Francisco. Francisco, you got a copy.
Yeah, I got you loud and clear.
Well, that was one of the craziest endings I've ever seen. It looked like no one survived initially except the leader. Somehow you managed to claw through it and come home with a third place finish. How'd you do it?
Believe it or not, damage was on my side this time. I was down because of aero damage, hung back because I couldn't keep up. The wreck happened so far ahead, it allowed me to see where all the cars were going, saw that the bottom lane was completely open, so just dove it down there, got through the wreck, and was able to get around the 80 coming to the line with just enough momentum to pull it off.
Well, nicely done. Congrats on the third place finish. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out tonight?
Shout out to my gaming org, St. Louis Leviathans. Shout out to the boys that always supported me from the beginning. And Premier, they got my back, so gotta show them some love. But yeah, and of course you all for putting on the broadcast and Ian for putting on the race. It was actually pretty fun, awesome. So shout out to all y'all.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That is your third place finisher tonight. Let's move on to your second place finisher. Give me 1 second here, actually, to make sure I have his audio correct. And this might be the happiest man that we talked to so far. It's Matthew Baker. Matthew, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Austin.
Well, I'm just going to say it because it's true. You probably didn't deserve a top 10 at the end there, but you managed to do it, which makes it earned. How'd you get it?
I got to thank Larry there because I told him don't lift off my bumper. That's the only reason I was able to keep within 2 seconds of those guys. So thanks to him for keeping me up there. And then we just Days of Thundered it through the smoke and kept it full throttle, hoping for the best, and it worked out.
And that is exactly why you never give up. Congrats on the second place run. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, just thanks to the teammates. We all had our bad luck tonight. We were snake bitten from the start, from the pit road incident to the 3 wide getting run through on the bottom. So it is what it is. It's super speedway racing, but glad we could pull the golden horseshoe out of our butts again and come with a top 3 there. And thanks to Coasting Thunder, MBG Motorsports, Baker and Son Construction. Thanks to family watching back at home, and you for putting on the broadcast, man. I always like watching it. This will be an interesting one to watch for sure.
Yeah, you're telling me. That's your second place finisher, Matthew Baker, in the 5 truck. And I'll tell you what, I know I said maybe he didn't deserve it, but don't get mistaken. He managed to get through all that chaos. That's well deserved. And I've been on the side of that. Sometimes it is way better to be lucky than good at the end of these things. And luck was on Matthew Baker's side tonight. Now let's talk to your winner, the man of the hour, McCall Motorsports, Ken McCall Jr. You got a copy?
Hell yeah, let's go.
You sound sure as heck happy. The amount of money you have won in the last 2 days is insane. But let's talk about tonight, right at the end there, when you saw the whole field piling up in your mirror. What were you thinking?
Man, I just felt so bad for Alex there. He did such a good job of pushing me. I know he blew up and wasn't nothing he can do there. I hated that he took out, I think, the 99% of the rest of the field that was behind me, which I'd rather race it to the line. But feel bad for all them guys that got involved in that. But, good race there at the end for sure.
It was a good race. Let's talk real quick about just how important teammates are. It was you, Sean Hill, and Ron Morris Jr. all lined up on the bottom. How did you guys get so coordinated and were dominant, so dominant there at the end?
I know in that last wreck, I know there wasn't but about 7 of us that, maybe 6 of us that came through without any incidents. And I knew there was 3 teammates up there. So we was just all going to try to get in line there. I knew 3 of us were pretty strong against 5 on the outside. And I knew Alex is a really good pusher and figured he could get me to the win. Didn't work out for everybody, but Alex sure got me to the front.
All right, well, congrats on the win. Before we let you go tonight, is there anyone else you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I got to thank you, man, for doing these broadcasts. You do a wonderful job. Thank you, Ian, for putting on the race, and thank McCullough Motorsports, all them good teammates, and thank all the family and friends for watching.
All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to your winner, Ken McCall Jr. in the 03 truck. And that is just about going to wrap us up for tonight. Before everyone leaves, first of all, I want to say a big thank you to everyone for coming out. I hope everyone did enjoy. Can't thank you all enough for being here. Congrats one more time to your race winner, Ken McCall Jr. Ghost Racing Network will be back on Monday for the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series at Auto Club. Don't miss out on that. Saw a crazy race last week at Daytona. We'll see who can come home a winner this coming week at Auto Club. Ron Morse Jr. is having a money race right after this. If anyone's interested, feel free to DM me if you need any help getting into it. That is it for me, the Green Ghost, tonight. And that is it for the ISSL money racing tonight at Talladega. It was a good one. It was a memorable one, and it was a crazy one. We'll see you next time.